heavy,
bored.
This is the final poem I want to touch on in this collection, with the actual poem called the Magpies Song, which is what this section was named, if listeners remember. I'll read you this poem because it's a little bit shorter, and then I'll tell you what I think about it, because I think it's a good example of where I think Snyder is going halfway and not all the way. So here's Magpie's Song. 6 a.m. Sat down on excavation gravel by Juniper and Desert SP tracks. Interstate 80, not far off. Between trucks, coyotes, maybe 3, howling and yapping from a rise. Magpie on a bough tipped his head and said, quote, "Here in the mind, brother, turquoise and blue. I wouldn't fool you. Smell the breeze. It came through all the trees. No need to fear what's ahead. Snow up on the hills west. We'll be there every year. Be at rest. A feather on the ground, the wind sound. Here in the mind, brother, turquoise blue." And that's it. That's it. And what I want to touch on in this is that it's almost there. Besides the rhymes being kind of easy and simple, almost nursery rhyme rhymes, right? There's nothing very special about them. I think there's actually a good image in here, which is like the mind is turquoise blue. I think that's a very great and powerful image here. But the problem is that we don't get enough to show us what that is. What is the mind is turquoise blue, right? And it's like coming from a bird singing on a bough. Like, oh, the mind is turquoise blue. Here in the mind, brother, turquoise blue. Here in the mind, brother, turquoise blue. I wouldn't fool you. Smell the breeze, right? And again, this is just the description. So the first stanza is literally just a description of the speaker sitting down on a fucking pile of gravel, listening to the morning sounds. And then you hear this little bird, and then we kind of go into this little song that the bird's singing. Of course, the bird isn't actually saying these words, but, which is part of the artistry of poetry. But here we just get the mind, here in the mind, brother, turquoise blue. What does that mean? Does anybody know what it means? Do you think we get an idea of what that means in the poem? I don't think so. And this is where I thought that it was so vague. And what's giving this poem meaning is this kind of obsession with nature, right? This kind of environmentalist ideology is the only reason anybody would look at a poem like this and say, oh, it's so powerful, it's so good. It's not. And this is really where it kind of solidified what I was feeling already, where I was like, this Snyder isn't for me. He's not for me. I consider this kind of hackish, in my opinion. Kind of hackish, cringe. I kept saying, I kept cringing, turning these pages, just, oh my God, cringe. And it just made me, I don't like this book. I was like, okay, this book isn't for me. I don't like this book. But, okay,
Inner.
Resources, American resources.
Being bored?
Some activities are intentional, right?
It shows such a lack of gratitude for life. Bored. I aspire to boredom, I should say.
Bored. Heavy.
I am heavy.
Bored.
Has you the night sweats and the day sweats, pal? Pal, I do.